Hello, everybody. Van Potts with the Metabolic Wealth Investing Network. I hope this finds you well. I am here to tell you a little bit about my fasting experience, and it dovetails into the ketogenic lifestyle that I'm working on and nutrition. So let's get going. And I want to relay to you my experience, my thoughts on the experience, and at the end, two things I think are fairly important. So, number one, I fasted for 2 days, and it was technically 46 hours. It ended at about 6 o'clock p.m., which is 2 hours before 8 o'clock p.m. So I started, the last thing I had was a Sunday. I had any calories somewhere between 7:30 and 8, and went all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and then broke the fast right around dinner time on Tuesday night. So there's a very good reason that it was 46 hours, not 48. I did not want to eat after 8 o'clock on on a regular night, so I didn't. I did everything that I would normally do in terms of my work, and staying focused on my work, and then exercise. So, and I can't sit here and tell you that my sleep was perfect. That's probably more information than I want to spend on this, but I can tell you about that later. It definitely had my sleep interrupted twice, one on the first night and once on the second night for different reasons. So anyway, the other thing I did was I measured my blood glucose and my ketones the whole way through to see where they were, and that was actually really interesting and really, I don't know if exciting is the right word, but it was really healthy for me. So Monday, just didn't eat, worked. Got my exercise in on the water rowers, 6,000 meters in 27 minutes or something like that, 30 minutes. And then on then with dinner, just didn't do anything. Came back, took a shower, and I was actually pretty tired. I was actually ready to go to bed at 8:30 or 9 o'clock, something like that. And so I was actually pretty wiped out. And I said to myself, if I wake up and I feel okay, technically I could break the fast at 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. If I wake up and feel okay, excuse me, I'm going to stay in it. And I woke up and I felt great. I wasn't hungry at all. I got to lunchtime, and my key time where I get hungry is between 11 and 1. I rarely have breakfast, and that's another discussion for another day. But between 11 and 1, I normally have that hunger pang. I did not have it on the second day, so I went ahead and I pushed through to dinner. I did go and get my exercise in around 5 o'clock after working, and got my 30 minutes on the water rower. And I have to tell you, I love a fasted workout. I'm actually to the point now where I almost, if I eat something, I don't even want to go work out. So I like to work out completely fasted. The workouts are better. I feel better. And it's amazing how much more energetic and lighter you feel. So I measured my ketones on around lunchtime the first day on Monday, then at dinner time, and then again right before I broke the fast. So my ketones average above 1, right at 1, maybe 0.9, but above 1, 1.2. On day 1, they went all the way to 1.9 or 2.1. I can't remember. I'd have to go look on the numbers, and I'll try to put them up here on the screen for you. But and then the second day, they went all the way to 2.7. So that meant that I was into really high intense ketosis on the second day. And that's good for not only burning fat and using up unnecessary calories all over, but it's good for your brain health and everything else. So I was really pleased with that. What I was a little troubled with, and then this is probably really important in this video for you guys to know, and that is that, and this is one of the two things I think is really, really important, that I said I would say. My glucose, all through my journey in ketosis, has often been above. I've been measuring it now for 2 weeks. It has often been above 100 milligrams per deciliter. I think it is milligrams per deciliter, and that's unusually high for me. Mine normally doesn't go above 85. But there's something that I have learned about me and my physiology, and that is that while my liver is working really hard to, to stay up and to detox and everything else, it goes through a process called gluconeogenesis and makes a lot of glucose. So that's physiological glucose as opposed to pathological glucose. So what ends up happening is I measure, and I will be in that 97 to 103 range. There have been times I've been up to 110. It typically happens after I exercise. It typically happens after I have protein. It definitely will move it. Now, I did the deep dive on it, and it's nothing to be concerned about. It's actually completely normal. It's not like a glucose spike from carbohydrates or sugar. So I don't want to say that it's great or it's okay, but it definitely does not do any harm. That's the first thing. And you definitely, in my experience in measuring, I definitely saw them all over the place. It was pretty interesting. So when I came home yesterday straight from a workout, not having eaten for 2 days, not a calorie for 2 days, my glucose was 103 milligrams per deciliter. I think it's deciliter. That's really high. I mean, 110 starts to get into the pre-diabetic range, but it doesn't stay there. It kind of goes up when my body needs glucose. My liver produces it. When it kind of goes up, and then it comes back down. Now, Monday I had gone to work out after work at 5 o'clock, and then I came home and I decompressed for 3 or 4 hours, and I didn't measure my glucose and ketones until close to 8 o'clock at night. And at 8 o'clock at night, my glucose had come all the way down to 74. My ketones were either 1.9 or 2.1. I can't remember. I'd have to look, and I'll try to post them here on the screen. But anyway, don't be alarmed if you are low carbohydrate. And if you are working in a state of ketosis, do not be alarmed by glucoses that sneak up. I've listened to literally a dozen doctors, and I'm not exaggerating, a dozen, and they're like, it's completely normal for that to happen. It's physiological versus pathological. Pathological is when you do it on a regular, constant basis, and you're adding carbs and sugar and candy and soda and things like that. That's where the glycation is very, very dangerous. The situation that I'm in, it's pretty much irrelevant. All right, so got done with that. My GKI index, glucose ketone index, stayed really low, and indicating that I was in high intense ketosis, state of ketosis. So I was in therapeutic ketosis. So if I were diabetic, if I were pre-diabetic, if I had cancer, if I had heart disease, if I had some psychological issues that I was working on, for example, there's pretty good evidence that ketosis is a great way to manage schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. So if I had one of those, that's when I was really intense and working on it. I'm simply trying to increase my metabolic health and stay and try to lose a few pounds. So my GKI index was really low, 2.1. Anytime you get below 3, you are in intense pain. So last thing I want to say, and you can maybe see where I'm setting this up and where I'm kind of going with this. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nutritionist, and I think that any time you are going to consider something like this, you should talk with your healthcare professionals. And I will just say there is no way that the average person can, who wants to really go for change. And when I say go for change, I mean the average person that wants to lose weight, increase their, improve their metabolism, move from uh, carbohydrate to a fat and protein diet, increase metabolic flexibility, um, increase adaptation, things like that. I don't think you can do this just with a doctor. Your doctor doesn't have the time to hold your hand, and quite frankly, has probably not been able to become completely educated in all this kind of stuff, because oftentimes, and this is no disrespect to doctors in any way, shape, or form. Thank God we have them, and thank God they're good, but they're often treating numbers and symptoms and things like that as opposed to root causes. So I think that's where coaching becomes really, really important. And the coach, a good coach would be able to explain to you what you might want to go look at and research in order to move to that next level. So there are definitely resources out there to access coaching, but I do think that that is really important to surround yourself with coaches and or doctors and or people who are educated in different facets. So for example, in this particular journey, somebody that really understands ketosis is really important, and that isn't necessarily a doctor. There can be doctors that understand it, but that might not be a doctor. That might just be a regular guy. Somebody that understands food and proper nutrition. Again, and I can't say this enough, this is somebody that you really need to really, really work hard on who you let into your circle. You've got to have a medical doctor, because if you do see something, for example, if you're measuring your glucose and your 300, you need to talk with a doctor. Anytime you get way outside of some of those norms and those levels, it's important to talk to somebody that is that's what they do for a living. So I think that somebody that understands food, somebody that understands ketogenic lifestyle, somebody a doctor, professional, and somebody that can simply motivate is really important. And those are not all the same people. And that's really important for people to understand. Those are not all the same people. They are often a community of people. And I think it's important to take advantage of that if you want to get ahead. By the way, my coaches, I have coaches, so that's how it works. All right, that's it. Van Potts with the Metabolic Wealth Investing Network. It was great catching up with you. Consider an extended fast. You cannot believe how good you feel. Last night, I felt unbelievable. I felt like $1 million. That's it for now. I will see you the next time. Have a good day.